Are running out of inverters amid the energy crisis. People are finding alternatives due to the daily blackouts. This has led to high demand for inverters. Our reporter Lethiwe Mdluli has more details on this story. She joins us now live from Durban. So you have managed to speak to some industry experts about the high demand for inverters. What are they saying?
Well, Shahan, as the energy crisis continues in the country, a lot of people are now looking for alternative ways to keep their lights on. And I was fortunate enough today to speak to a company that supplies inverters across the country. Now, what they're saying is that because of the high demand, you will find that you won't find an inverter just like that. If you're looking for one, you have to spend time looking. Hardware shops are also running low. And this specific problem basically started last year when there was a lot of load shedding that the country was experiencing, and then there was a demand for inverters. Now, this company is saying that the demand has kind of slowed down a bit, which means that you can find an inverter anywhere. It's just that when it comes to the ones that you want to invest in, you'll have to spend a bit more. I spoke to a owner of Solace, which is based in Palito. Now, they supply inverters and they also install these inverters to different places, whether it's your home or your business. And he is saying that they've seen over the past 5 years, they've seen a high demand, and a lot of people are opting for solar power because of the continued blackouts. And a lot of businesses, of course, are affected by this because they lose out on money when there's no power. So they're also opting to go the solar power way. When speaking to him about the high demand and exactly what they're doing to try and fix that issue and supply their customers with these inverters that are so in demand right now, this is what the electrician that I spoke to, an owner of Solavest, had to say to me.
From about last year, December till end of February, there was a huge shortage in some of the equipment, particularly inverters, and this came about also from component manufacturers. So there was quite a big shortage of the equipment, but not just because of manufacturing capability, but also the demand for these kind of systems. I think people are realizing that we're in a crisis, and we are seeing that people are making plans to start going in this direction of being self-sufficient, and residential and commercial alike, we're seeing a big move towards renewable energy.
So these inverters aren't cheap. What do they cost?
Well, if you want an inverter that will cost a very low amount, you're looking at spending about 10,000 Rand. But industry experts are saying that if you're looking for something that will last you longer, you'll have to spend about 40,000 Rand going up. Sometimes you might end up spending about 100,000 Rand. And they are saying that for those high-end inverters, you will be making a good investment because it can last you up to 10 years or even 20 years. Now, some people are actually including these inverters that last for a really long time into their bond, and the bank can approve it. Others are opting to buy those ones where you have to spend a less amount because not everyone is able to afford the high-end ones. For those people that are opting to buy those 10K ones or 20K inverters, you can find them at hardware shops, but the demand, of course, is quite high, so it might take you about a month to find an inverter in store. You will be spending about 10K. So now this is not for your everyday South African. A lot of South Africans cannot afford this. A lot of people are out of jobs, so it is for those people who can afford this luxury. While speaking to the director for the company, he did explain the different kinds of prices that you'll have to pay for these inverters. This is what he had to say.
You know, it's a question of whether one can afford a car, really. Nobody can afford a car because there's no value in a second-hand car to get your money back. You'll always pay for electricity. But if you look at the savings that you'll have within a year, it is almost obligatory to go to solar. The option to understand how you can afford it is to understand that banks who now ask for a PV green card assessor will finance it if you have a bond with a bank. And that financing could be for 20 years. Now, after 3 years, you're already starting to get your money back. So it's a hard bite in the beginning. If you deal with a proper designer, and it's an expandable system that you could start with a backup system, but that is expandable, and you buy as expensive as possible equipment to start off with, it makes economic sense. To buy the wrong equipment that comes back and bites you in a year or so.
All right, we'll leave it right there. Lethiwe Mdluli.